The crime was brutal. A Shreveport woman nearly beaten to death last month, clubbed with a rubber mallet and a vase broken over her head. Police would quickly make an arrest, the victim's boyfriend. But when they got suspect Damien Johnson to jail, police checked his record and found a year-old murder warrant for his arrest on a case they investigated. In this KTBS 3 investigation, I look into why no one was looking for Damien Johnson for murder, a mistake that almost cost a woman her life. The case begins July 6, 2022. 21-year-old Eli McKinney was shot outside a Greenwood Road motel. McKinney's parents say their son needed money and was trying to sell watches.
I felt like part of my arm was ripped off. I felt like part of me was dead. I carried him for 9 months, and then to have that taken away from you, it's heartbreaking.
Police quickly had a suspect, Damien Johnson of Shreveport. He was no stranger to law enforcement.
His rap sheet is very long, and even whenever he did murder Eli, he was out. We didn't know, but he was out on bail.
According to court records, Johnson's first conviction was for felony burglary in Georgia in February of 2012. Later that year, he was arrested in Caddo Parish for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. He pleaded guilty to attempted possession and got a 3-year sentence. In 2017, Johnson's arrested again for having a gun. He pleaded guilty and got 7 years. Fast forward to April 2021. Police answering a narcotics complaint saw Johnson trying to hide a handgun. It is his third firearms arrest. Here is where there are more twists in the story. In August of 2022, 1 month after Eli McKinney is killed, police asked the Caddo DA's office for a warrant to arrest Johnson, but they are turned down for insufficient evidence. 4 months after that, while police are still trying to make a murder case, Johnson appears in court on the gun charge. He gets probation. Finally, in October 2023, after a year of back and forth between police and prosecutors, the DA's office says there is now enough evidence. They take it to a grand jury in February 2024 and get an indictment. A judge issues an arrest warrant, and Damien Johnson is a wanted man. Police spokesman Chris Borderlawn insists no one at SPD knew about the warrant for murder until they booked Johnson for the brutal beating of his domestic partner 1 year after the warrant was issued. Borderlawn says not even Detective Donald Belanger, who testified before the grand jury, knew about the murder warrant.
Once he was booked into our city jail, we were made aware that a warrant existed for second-degree murder, and we really didn't have a lot of information other than what the warrant number was, so the officers booked them in on that. After a further investigation, we were able to determine that a murder warrant had been signed and submitted involving a grand jury indictment performed by the Caddo Parish District Attorney's Office.
But Eli McKinney's family and the DA dispute that. The DA produced a phone log showing their chief investigator called Belanger the afternoon of the indictment. The family says they later talked with Belanger on the phone. So you are saying that Belanger knew that there was an indictment and that they were to go and find him and arrest him?
Yes.
You're positive?
Yes.
The DA says they followed standard procedure and Belanger should have taken it from there. Borderlawn disputes that. He says even if Belanger knew, there should have been a paper trail. Belanger was also no longer working as a homicide detective.
We have a long-standing history of when we are made aware of someone being wanted for murder, we do everything we can. We use all resources available. Had we known an individual was wanted for murder, it would have been no different.
Johnson is jailed without bond. The McKinneys are relieved about that, but they're not happy with how this case was handled.
Every murder should be taken seriously. Every murder, they should do everything that they can to make sure that justice is served.
We received a statement today from Caddo District Attorney James Stewart regarding this incident. He said that in the 10 years he has been a DA, this kind of situation has never happened before. But in the wake of what happened, the DA's office is making some changes in the notification process. In addition to telling the investigating officer there's been an indictment and warrant issued, as they've always done, prosecutors will now send an email and a letter to the chief of police and one of his assistants notifying them. Damien Johnson is set for arraignment on May 13th. He is expected to plead not guilty. We are told the woman brutally beaten last month is recovering.